Thank you very much, Jochen, for the opportunity to present at the Green Investment Summit. NextWave, as the name implies, is a new way of creating wafers that are the central piece in a solar cell or in a solar module. And what I think is very important, as Jochen mentioned in the introduction, is that if we can get ultra-high, ultra-light silicon wafers, that means that the entire cap cost of the balance of system becomes that much cheaper. But that is not the only advantage of our technology. The other advantage is that we're revolutionizing the manufacturing method and creating a very low carbon footprint way of making these essential elements in photovoltaic technology. So a little bit about the need for photovoltaics. When the energy transition occurs, whether it's in 2050 or hopefully sooner, photovoltaics will account for nearly 50% of the total installed power capacity that is necessary. Conventional estimates say that 8.5 terawatts of installed capacity are necessary. And if today's efficiencies of 21 or 22% are used, this is going to be an exceptionally large capital requirement, and also a requirement on surface area. And in many cases, it also means that you cannot fully integrate it into buildings because today's wafers are not conformal because they're not thin enough. So what is the alternative? The alternative is, instead of using the traditional process, which is very complicated and requires you to use chlorosilane gases and first purify them and create an ultra pure polysilicon and then melt it to produce ingots, we go directly from the gas phase to the finished wafer. So rather than having 45% of the original silicon being essentially recycled or wasted through the cutting and shaping process, in our technology, 95% goes directly into the wafers. That means that we use 70% less energy, but also 80% less carbon in both creating that energy, but also in the process as a whole. So our Epinex wafers, which is our trademarked name for our product, not only gives you a much greener way of creating photovoltaics because of the tight control over the properties and specifications of our product, and because we can go to a much thinner wafer because of the epitaxial nature of our growing technique. That means that you can in fact create both conformal wafers and ones that allow you to break the efficiency barrier and go from 22 to first 26% and later even to the 30+% range. So let me then give you a sense of what that means. That means that for every 10 gigawatts of wafer production, we will be saving 6 million tons of CO2 annually. And since these plants, of course, persist, that means that we are increasing the amount of available capacity until we reach the energy transition. So this is compared to wafer production in China, because as we know, Chinese power very often comes from coal and other non-renewable sources. So what does that mean? That means that from today's 5 megawatt pilot line in Freiburg, Germany, we within 2 years, already with a facility that we have contractually acquired in Bitterfeld, Germany, will be able to show industrial scale. And by the year 2025, we'll be in mass production, not only at the 3 gigawatt scale, but soon at many times the 10 gigawatt scale, through both our own production at the existing facility, but also through licensing and partnership. One of the important factors is that also this is exceptionally profitable for the investors in NextWave, because we are using a raw material that is half the cost of traditional silicon wafers. We use something called silicon tetrachloride rather than the trichloride used in the Siemens process. And because well-established companies such as Evonik are supporting us, that means that at Bitterfeld we can do this at scale and very efficiently, also from a CapEx perspective. Now, that's not the end of our roadmap. By 2025, we will also have ultra-thin wafers, and one is shown here at 51 microns in thickness. This enables the ability to introduce solar to electric vehicles, to satellites to bring the internet to the 2 billion people that don't have it today worldwide, and is the gateway to creating high-efficiency tandem cells at first 26 to 30% efficiency, potentially with perovskites as they become available, but over the next 10 years, also with gallium arsenide and bonding to create 35, 36% efficiency cells. So now we have a pathway of nearly doubling the efficiency of solar, which of course cuts the cost in half, but doing it in a way that uses 80% less carbon footprint. This is really the best of both worlds, as you do not need a trade-off scenario to get these benefits. So thank you very much for your interest in NextWave, and I look forward to discussing it further in the breakout sessions.